Hey friends, it's Lark and Lavender, and today I'm actually going to be doing a book haul. This will be my first book haul of 2021, and it's going to be compiled of all the books that I've either bought or received in both the beginning of this year and the very end of 2020. Not all of these I have read yet, but I've actually read, I feel like a decent amount, but I guess we'll see. So the first book I actually went and bought myself, and that is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Iams, and I have already read this one. I basically made this book my whole new personality, so we love that for me. But this follows a band of mercenaries who are way past their prime, and they have to go back on another quest to get the band back together to go save the leader's daughter, who is kind of stuck in this battle, and it's just really good. It's a very like classic, almost a D&D-esque type fantasy. I've heard a couple people describe it as a love song to fantasy, and I totally agree with that. But it's a nice, fun quest. It's funny, but it's definitely still gets you in the feels, and I just love every single character in this book. The next book was actually a gift to me from my roommate's mom, who's basically my mom now, and that is A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the third book in the Ember in the Ashes series, and I actually just read this one. I finished it, I think, last week, and this is such a good series. This is based on a Roman-inspired fantasy world where the marshals are in charge, and the... what are they called? I literally just read this book. Wow, that took me way too long to remember the name of Lias people, but they're the scholars, and they're basically treated as slaves, less than nothing, and it's just a very brutal YA fantasy, and it's very good. It's such a solid series, and I really cannot wait to read the last one. The next book that I bought is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. I have not read this one yet, but I'm pretty sure it's about this girl who joins a bachelor type show, and it's kind of a big deal because she is plus size, and I've heard really good things about this. I'm very excited to dive into it. I just really haven't been in the mood for like contemporary romance, except for one book that I will talk about later, which just is my new favorite book now. But I'm really excited to pick this one up. Oh my goodness. Don't step on my laptop. After that, I got Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I have already read this one, and oh my god, was it phenomenal. This is a kind of a prequel to The Hate U Give, and it follows Maverick Carter, who is Star Carter's dad, and it follows his journey as he is part of a gang, and he finds out that he actually has a son, so he's trying to kind of leave the gang life and balance that with becoming a father, and it's so good. I actually read this in a day because it was just that phenomenal. I also highly recommend the audiobook. It was so good, but such an important and impactful read, and anything that Angie Thomas writes is just amazing, and I honestly think that she gets better and better with every single book. After that, I bought a booktube darling, and that is going to be The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Cloon. I haven't read this one yet, but I really, really want to, and I'm excited to get to it soon because I've heard that it's just a big hug of a book, and it's queer, and I'm so very excited about it. This book follows Linus Baker, and he is a caseworker for basically orphans, but like magical orphans, and there's this orphanage by the sea, and they have a bunch of dangerous orphans, and I think it's just like kind of a found family book. That's all I need to know. I just cannot wait to dive into this, and I have not heard a single bad thing about this book. Next up, I have the first two books in a series, and that is going to be The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic by R.F. Quang. This is just a sleeve because my partner is borrowing the physical book, so I'm just going to hold up this one. But this is about an Asian-inspired fantasy following the fictional retelling of the Opium Wars, and I have already read the first one. I have not read the second one yet, but holy crap, is this important and impactful and just brutal. I know that it is based off of real events, and I'm pretty sure that the descriptions of the war are basically word for word recaps of actual things that happened, but this was actually really hard to get through. At least the second part of it was, but not like because it wasn't good. This was such a profound story and deals with such important topics that are really hard to read about, but really important to read about. But we follow our main character, Rin, and she is a war orphan forced to live with this family that does not want her, but there were so many war orphans that every family had to take one in, and her adopted family, if you will, are basically opium dealers, and she's kind of like the store girl, and she does not want to be married off to this gross old man, so she studies day and night to try to pass a test to get into the most prestigious military school, and it is near impossible to get into it, and yet our girl does, and it takes off from there to military school and then deals with the actual war. And it's hard to talk about this book, but it's just, I'm so glad I read it, and I cannot wait to continue out the series, and I'm so happy that I was able to find these hardcovers, because for some reason it was really hard to find the hardcover of the first book. I don't know why, but I'm glad I have it. After that, I bought Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long, and I really don't know what this is about other than it's a revenge story, and I think it might be Norse inspired. Don't quote me on that. That's all I need to know. I am so excited to read this. I have not yet, but it is on my radar. Obviously, I'm holding it. But I'm pretty sure the main girl's like entire village, family, community got killed off while she was away, and so now she is out for blood. I'm hype. This next one I'm actually really excited about because I didn't think I would be able to find this cover, and I stumbled upon it, and that is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which is just a huge, long, epic, classic fantasy series. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what it's about, but I'm excited to dive into just one of the most classic and most epic fantasies written, and Brandon Sanderson finished the series. So, I mean, I'm very excited. I wish I knew what this was about. It's probably about time. Pathetic. Another classic fantasy that I picked up that is more on the modern side. Can it still be called a classic? I don't know. It's very popular, but that is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I know he has basically like a cult type following. I assume for good reason. I've heard really amazing things about his works. This is the first book in the First Law world. I think it's originally a trilogy, but I'm pretty sure that most of his books are connected and in the same world. So I'm very excited to read this. It's a grimdark fantasy. Again, I don't really know what it's about, but I believe it follows a morally great character, and I'm very excited for this. The next book I'm very excited about, I got from Book of the Month, and that is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I actually just read this. I just finished it the other day, and holy crap, is it one of my new favorite books. This is about a girl who is described as a classic Virgo, and she just got her PhD in astronomy and just kind of doesn't really know what she's doing now that she's done with school and walked out of an interview for a job. So she goes to Vegas to kind of get away with her two best friends and ends up drunkenly getting married to this girl who she's never met before, and just kind of follows her journey as she tries to find herself. It's described as a coming of age in your 20s novel, and I just love that because I am in my mid-20s and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life. So this was very comforting. It also was this was like a poem and a love song, and just wonderful. I adore this book so much, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. After that, I have a book that I've been trying to get my hands on for 2 months, but none of my local stores had it, and I had to find it online. And that is Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames. Eames. I don't know how to say his last name. I should probably look that up at some point. Anyways, this is following the daughter that they are trying to save in Kings of the Wild, which was the first book that I mentioned. And I have not read it yet because I literally just got it like a few days ago, and I cannot wait to dive into this. I loved the first book so much, and I heard that this one is even better, so I'm not even ready for it. But it follows Rose and her band of mercenaries, and I actually am not sure if it follows the events like during King of the Wild, but from her perspective, or if it's afterwards. I'm not sure. I don't really care. I just know that I'm gonna love this. Another book that I was trying to get my hands on for quite some time, and that is this beautiful hardcover of The Rage of Dragons. And this is by Evan Winters. I know his name. I don't know why I had to look. I forgot. I have not read this yet. I, again, literally just got it the other day, but I'm so excited to dive into this. It's a revenge story. It's about dragons. I don't care about anything else that happens in this book. It's about dragons. I've heard literally nothing but amazing things about this book. I know it's a debut novel, and a beautiful one at that. I know the second book is out, and I already want to buy it, even though I haven't even read this first one, but I am not gonna do that because I need to be responsible. But I have so many books that I'm so excited to get to this month that I don't even know what to do with myself, but I want to get to this soon. So hopefully. Almost done with the book haul, but the next book that I'm going to show you is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I promise this cover is not as bad in person. I'm also kind of in the minority where I don't hate it. Yes, it doesn't match the other ones, but like, I don't know, I kind of like the new covers. I know that that's kind of like not the popular opinion. I don't really care what the books look like. I am a slut for Sarah J. Maas. I don't care. I love her. But this book follows Nesta, who is Feyre, the main character of the first part of the series, her sister, and it's kind of just following her journey as she deals with trauma and the aftermath of the war. And a lot of people are gonna reduce this book to just fairy smut, and yes, there is some of that in there, but this book is so much more. It's about healing and how messy healing can be, healing from trauma, healing from grief. And I was not expecting to love Nesta. I was hoping that I would, but I really did not like Nesta in the original series. But now she is just so near and dear to my heart after finishing this book. I literally finished it last night. I read like the last quarter of the book yesterday because I just wanted to finish it and wanted to see the end of her journey. Not the end of her journey, you know what I mean. I don't know where the next books in this series are gonna go because I feel like this wrapped up so beautifully, but also like I need the next book right now because I just love this world and I love these characters so much. And I'm not gonna like do a review here because I'm gonna go more into it in my wrap up, but holy crap, did I love this book. I loved it so much. Obviously, if you haven't read the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, you're not gonna want to pick this up. But if you did, and even if you just thought that series was just okay, I feel like there's a really good chance that you could really love this book, especially if you have been through any sort of traumatic experience, no matter what it is. Like, this book is just gorgeous and important, and I love it with like every fiber of my being. Was it perfect? No. But it was still phenomenal. On a different note, the last book that I am going to be showing you that I bought just the other day, and that is Winter's Orbit. I don't know who this is by. Verena Maxwell. I don't really know much about this book. I know it's a sci-fi and that it's gay, and that's all I care about. I've been on a sci-fi kick because I just reread The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, and now all I want to do is just read sci-fi, which sucks for all of the fantasy that I just showed you that I just bought and want to read. I'm on a sci-fi kick. I don't know. So I want to get to this really soon, like hopefully this month, because I've heard really good things about it and it literally just came out, but it's already gotten good reviews. I wish that I had looked up what this is about, but I don't know, and I really don't care. I just want to dive into it. I have 15 books here, and only one of them I didn't buy for myself. I am going on a book buying ban now. So hopefully there won't be another book haul for quite some time, because how do I still have money in my bank account is what I want to know after 15 books. I didn't realize I had so many. It's only, well, now it's March 1st. It's only March 1st. Anyway, thank you if you've stayed this long, and let me know what books that you have bought recently and are really excited about reading, or just what book you're currently reading and really loving. Thanks for sticking with me, and if you finish this book haul, leave a planet emoji for the sci-fi mood that I've been in. We'll see you next time. Bye.